and hopefully we'll have some interesting and informative material for you. So.
那大家下午午安，下午好。然后下午会由我们两个来替大家，怎么讲，就是解说这样子，然后希望可以给大家带来一些有趣的新的知识这样子。
So it's a two-part presentation this afternoon. The first half, as you can see here, is tracking specifically for search and rescue applications. The second half will be lightweight rope rescue related stuff. We're only going to be in here for a few minutes actually, and then the majority of the presentation will be outside. Okay, so.
那这个下午有分两个部分，那第一个部分呢是追踪搜索的部分，搜索追踪，那我们会在这边，但是很短的时间而已。然后接下来我们会到外面去，然后会有另外一个是绳索的部分，然后这是1点到3点的时间，那我们分成两个部
分。Just so you know, the image up there where it says SAR and then Safety, Access and Rescue, that's my company. In Australia, so that's my business that I own. All right, and what I do typically for work, I act as a commercial trainer and instructor for many different things back in Australia and also through Asia and the United States and what have you. But that's the logo of my company anyway on this.
那在那个 PowerPoint 上面，那个 SAR 是他的公司的标志这样子，然后也是他就是在澳洲的工作，然后他在全球各地，在美国、在澳洲、在亚洲，然后他都有就是做训练。
I guess as many of you would know, and especially those of you who were here last year, most of what I do is rope-related type stuff, rope access, rescue training, height safety, all sorts of things. But we do a range of other related things as well, and it's only because of my background across multiple different disciplines, one of those being 10 years in the military. Sure, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, we do lots of different things.
Right.
Most of it's rope related, but there's some other.
如果你去年有来的话，你知道就是它比较多，就是专注在绳索的部分。然后今年呢，我们就是有多了一些其他的东西。然后what else like this year we have
rescue.
Yep.
对，搜救的。
Yep. Excellent. Yep. So just as a lead-in with this, I guess what qualifies, for want of a better word, me to stand here talking about tracking is from my military background and actually doing a 2-week-long course in the military when I was there. Yeah. So.
那他的背景就是有非常多重的那个，他的经验非常丰富这样。然后其中一个就是他现在要谈的是追踪。那他在过去呢，有曾经他在军中的经验的时候，他有曾经做2个礼拜的追踪的训练。
The ability to track one or more individuals across country has obvious military applications, but it also has very significant applications in search and rescue.
那在军中就是追踪，它有军中的方式。那相同的，我们在野外的追踪也有另外追踪的方式。
But it tends to be a very underutilized skill, and tracking for many people is a very mysterious art that seems almost impossible to understand.
那追踪是一门很复杂的艺术，这样子，然后有很多需要去学的。
But like any learned skill, what can seem bewildering and almost impossible at the start, if one goes through a course of instruction and understands what to look for, then anyone can learn how to do it, just like I learned, and anybody else can learn as well.
那在课程当中，如果你可以
Well, it can seem very confusing and difficult, but it's just a skill that can be learned. Yeah.
追踪它就是刚刚讲，它是一个很复杂的艺术。但是如果你抓到一个诀窍，你从一开始学一些技巧之后，你就可以从这些技巧，然后应用到实际的现实生活上。
Yeah. Given our time this afternoon, that we basically have less than an hour now, all I can do, we're going to just give you an overview and an idea of what tracking looks like and potentially how it will be used in search and rescue. I certainly can't train you how to do that because it takes like 2 weeks to learn. So.
那今天的话，我们已经不到1个小时的时间，那我们只能学到就是很基本的认识，然后没有办法就是完全的训练大家说你要成为一位追踪师这样。今天只是很基础的认识这样。
Excellent. Yeah. So we're going to do a couple of little activities outside very shortly, and some of these activities you can do them too. You'll be surprised how simple it actually is, and some of the very simple tools that we'll use, so you can actually do this stuff in your own time.
那等一下我们会出去就是试几个就是简单的活动这样，然后让你可以体验看看。那这些你也可以平常在这几个活动是你之后也可以自己在家练习的。
Excellent. There's only 5 slides in this PowerPoint. This is number 2, so we'll get through this quite quickly, and then we're going to head outside. This chart here is from a book up there, and the idea is that, and don't read too much into it at the moment, but it just gives an idea of the sort of distances that a lost individual can actually cover in mountainous terrain.
我们今天就只有5张 PowerPoint， 所以这是第2张。那待会这一张大家看到的是从一本书上截取，那这一本书叫做《失踪者行为》。那你可以看到他们就是不见之后，然后他们大概会走的距离会有多远，然后还有对，就是他们的年纪，就是他们的分类，然后他们的一些失踪之后，他们可能会移动的距离。
I'm sorry, I appreciate it's in English. I couldn't get that translated necessarily. I don't even own that. But some of the data that's there, interestingly, comes from Australia, from a couple of very significant searches that occurred where I live in Australia. So that's where some of this information has come from.
那这些数据呢，有部分就是这一本书它收集的数据是全世界各地这样，然后有部分是从澳洲来，然后是从他们澳洲几个比较就是著名的搜救，然后得来的数据。
What it amply demonstrates is that even children, let alone adults, can cover significant amounts of distance in a lost situation, and it often surprises searchers where the sort of ground that people can cover, given enough time.
那这一个数据显示呢，就是不是只有成人，在小孩子他们即使在失踪的时候，他们也可以创造出，就是他们也可以走到就是很远的距离，是我们可能没有办法，就是我们原本没有办法想象的距离。
Excellent. So a few key things to be aware of. If tracking is to be used in a search and rescue setting, it's absolutely imperative that the first thing that we determine is what's called the point last seen, or it's the definitive location where the lost individual can be confirmed as having been there in that location.
追踪技术用在搜救上面呢，很重要一个是你必须要先知道这一个人的最后的已知点在哪里，或者是就是不只是他最后被看见的那个地方，或者是你最后确定他是在哪里的那个地方。
So William can move back that phone because they don't know. Little bit explain. I think it's better. They more understand that phone. What's that meaning?
Sorry,
That phone. Last page.
Oh, sorry, the previous one.
Yeah.
Sure, sorry. Yes, this. What the meaning of this?
Yeah, the chart. What's that meaning? Adult, children, and another.
Oh,
thing.
it gives
Yeah,
because
they don't know the
Sure, it's
yes,
purely
yeah.
so we've got distances in kilometres.
Yeah.
It's the distances that
Yeah.
people can cover, literally in a lost situation, and they tend to be significant. Often searches can tend to occur in a very small area, and sometimes a lot of the time when the person is finally found, they've actually gone much further than people had imagined that they could. Yeah.
所以这个就是在我们搜救的时候，我们会设一个范围，然后有时候在搜索的时候，我们发现就是他们并不在我们这一个设定的搜索范围里面，他们可能会走超过我们原本划定的这一个搜索范围。
So I guess
What the difference? The children and adult, and the fisher and hiker.
They're just they're likely groups that people that wind up getting lost. So hunters, fishers, children, adults, whatever. And it just gives the number of cases and then a range of distances compared to the very last column there is the search area that was proposed. And
Yeah, that's a kilometer, right?
Kilometres.
Yeah, kilometers. The children 1, 2, 3 is 0.5.
Yeah.
就是 是在这一张表上面显示的，就是小孩子1到3岁他不见了，然后或者是小孩4到6岁、7到12岁，或者是青少年，然后或者是就是只是走失的人，然后或者是渔夫，然后健行的人、猎人，或者是其他的，或者是巡山员这类型的。那最后一格呢，是我们通常搜索的时候我们设定的范围，这样，然后这是单位是公里，单位是公里。
I can make that available. If
Yeah.
anyone wants it, I can easily send it to you.
Yeah, I
So,
talked about that book actually.
Yeah. That's perfect, yeah. So I don't want to get too sidetracked by that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just
yeah.
gives an idea that
Yeah, that's
people
right.
travel a lot further than people realise, necessarily. So when we established the point last scene, if tracking is to be used in a search and rescue situation, it's absolutely imperative that point last scene position is not contaminated by having lots of searchers and rescuers trampling all over the ground everywhere, because that's typically what happens.
搜索，追踪术如果要用在搜索上面，很重要一个就是在最后已知点的时候，我们必须要确定在我们要搜索之前，然后我们的追踪员他可以得到最原始的样子，而不是一大堆的，就是搜救人员就上去，然后把所有的基证都踩坏了。
Excellent. And part of that, it's difficult for search agencies all around the world where tracking is used to make a decision to employ tracking at the start, because the tendency is just to send hundreds of searchers into the field, and of course when that happens, any chance of using tracking is lost straight away.
在使用追踪的技术，还有很重要一点就是，如果一开始就有太多人上去破坏，那对追踪这件事情几乎就是不可能。如果你要使用追踪这个技术的话，然后有太多人去破坏现场，然后你要再使用，它是一件很困难的事情。
Probably the one place in the world where tracking gets used and has been for years now, very successfully, is in the United States. Okay, there's a very significant base of expertise there of trackers who are used in search and rescue.
那他说，在美国的搜救队里面，其实他们在追踪的表现是最好的。这样，那他们在他们的追踪队伍里面会有所谓的追踪师，然后还有他们在各地的追踪也会使用，他们的搜索也会使用到追踪术。
Excellent. What we need to do is identify the sign left by the lost person and confirm that it is in fact them. So that we don't follow an incorrect track or somebody else's boot prints or whatever. So we need to make a positive identification that the sign that we're about to follow is in fact the lost person.
那很重要就是我们必须要确定这个我们要找的东西是我们失踪的人所留下来的，而不是我们随便找到一个足迹，然后或者是一个基证，然后就觉得说，这就追到错的人这样子。
Excellent. And the standard tool for learning how to track is a very, very simple mechanism called a tracking box. And we made one a little while ago, and you'd be surprised how simple it is. And that's what we're going down to look at now.
那有一个很简单的活动，我们叫做追踪盒子。那这一个呢是很简单的技巧。那待会我们也会到外面去练习。
Excellent. That's it for the PowerPoint. All right. So there we go.